Hi, guys, and welcome to Rise of Crystal Phoenix and Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix.
Welcome to Rise of
So
Crystal
excited
Phoenix
to be
and
here today. This
Life
is.
Talks with Crystal Phoenix. Welcome to Rise.
Give me 1 second. Technical difficulty. There we go. Sorry about that. This is the first ever live on Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. I'm so excited to have you guys here. If you want to know who I am, scan the QR code and it will take you to my website. I am a domestic abuse awareness counselor, author, speaker, and advocate. I give a voice to those who don't have one. But today we're doing a special show. It's about giving back to our community. And I'm so excited to bring in two wonderful, wonderful friends of mine. First, it's my beautiful friend, Martha, who has started a nonprofit organization to help the community. And I'm so excited to bring her in to say hi. So I'm going to welcome up Martha now and let you see both of us. Decided to start off with a little bit of a bang for my first show. What'd you guys think? So now, this is my beautiful friend, Martha, who has started a wonderful nonprofit organization that is based out of Houston. I am so excited to be having you here for my first ever live. You've been in my audio rooms on LinkedIn and we've had wonderful conversations. So please let us know who you are and what you are all about.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Congratulations on your show. I'm so excited to be here with you. Who am I? My name is Martha Lobo-Samaya. I am the founder of Connect Impact Hub, where our mission is to end homelessness. I am really excited just to be having these conversations in the community. I'm sharing the journey here on LinkedIn. Because of our friendships here on LinkedIn, more like family we've become, the support has been truly inspiring. I did not think I was going to be having a charity, and here we are today with our community involvement. And as you can see, you are all making a difference in my life, but also in the community members that I'm assisting either here in person and also virtually. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Wow, awesome. And now I want to welcome a fellow author and wonderful friend and mentor to me. She has helped me through a few of my breakdowns when it came to writing and just life. Paulette Hamilton. welcome to the stage, Paulette. And why don't you let us know who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm Paula Hallam, and I'm an ex-corporate girl who then retrained to become a therapist. I'm not in counselling practice now. I gave all that up to become an author of children's books so that I could reach the many instead of the few. And that's how it all started for me. So that's who I am, and that's who I came on LinkedIn as 14 months ago now. And here I am, book 2.
Absolutely. So I do have some questions for you guys. First off, I'm going to start with Martha. What motivated you to start this, the Connect Impact Hub and everything? What was it for this?
Thank you, Crystal, for that question. Certainly this started, I call it, on my self-discovery journey after I left corporate, moved to Texas with no plan, no job. And I found myself picking up independent contracting work as an advocate in New York. And then I also picked up case management here in Houston, where I volunteered for a shelter. And I have to tell you that this little lady here with us today, Paulette, really, I have to give you your flowers every time because it's the honest truth. She really lit the fire in me. And I kept speaking about the work that I was doing. I kept seeing what's happening within our healthcare sectors, within the resources available to our community members. And I just kept hearing so many no's, not a lot of yes. So when Paulette said, well, let's do something about it. Then I was contemplating on the idea, how should I serve? How am I going to do this? And so here we are today.
Here we are.
And it's literally, the movement has started and it is growing daily. The support is really starting to grow in so many areas. And I'm just blown away still. Like, I'm getting chills just talking about this out loud because we really need one another. And when we start just with our own community, it doesn't matter where you're at, when you start with one community, it's going to attract multiple communities. And that's exactly what's happening.
Absolutely. Now, and I completely agree. Now, Paulette, what motivated you to start writing the so wonderful Jack books? I know the story, but the world does not.
Okay. Well, I have a beautiful nephew called Jack. He's now a rather large grown-up adult doctor, actually over in your world at the moment in Boston. And when he was little, he had fears and worries. And both his parents were very busy. They were starting a company. They were just not present for him. And that is no slant on them. They were both working sort of 20 hours a day each to get their business off the ground. And he was the second child on the bus. And when he went to get on the bus, every seat was taken because the bully would push him off the seat. And he told me about this, and it was heartbreaking. And so we sort of doodled around with a piece of paper, as I always do. And then my brother came out to the garden and he put a glass of water down on the serviette I've been doodling on. It had a circle. And Jack said, oh, it's got a watermark now. And we were like, well, that must be his name. We'll call him Water. And that's how Water was born, on a little scrap of paper in a garden in my brother's house. And I gave Jack a very strict rule, and that was to go into school and tell those bullies that he had this Auntie Paulette who was ferocious and so angry, and that I was going into school and I was going to sort it out. And he was like, okay. So who do I go to see as the headmaster? He was like, okay. And then he got my serviette and he folded it up into tiny little square. And he said, can I put this in my pocket? And I said, why? And he said, because when I touch it, I'll get the strength that you're there with me. And it broke me, absolutely broke me. And I said, absolutely you can. So he thought he was going into school on his own, but little did he know that Auntie Paulette did go in and rip into my brother. And so my brother went with Jack into school the next day on the Monday. That was the Sunday I was with him. And they sorted out all of the problems there and then. And a ferocious Auntie Paulette wasn't required. However, it got him talking. And that was what motivated me to start training up as a proper legal counsellor. That was the start. Then, God, this is awful, 12 years later, sorry, I apologise, 17 years later, I've got a 12-year-old son of my own with autism who was being bullied in the same way that Jack was. Only they had a very easy target, and that was his autism. And so all the training I'd done, I went back to school, got every book, every piece of advice I could, and retrained to save Ben's life, because he was at the point of calling it a day. And we had to get him back, and we got him back. And he always says it was digitally remastered. That's the term that I think we call when we talk about CDs and videos and things, that he got digitally remastered, but really he got some inner strength, and he used water in exactly the same way. And so that's when I decided to go into schools. And I'll be honest, it became exhausting. I was wanted to go from Aberdeen to Scotland to Wales to here to there. And I thought, I'm not well enough. I'm disabled. I would struggle to be able to do that, and I would be exhausted. And that's when the idea of writing the books came into fruition. So there you are. That's the story.
And of course, my mouse doesn't want to work when it should. Before I end the round robin with the question, I do want to say a very big thank you for everybody coming out to support my beautiful, wonderful family on LinkedIn. Susanna, Chris, Charles, thank you guys so much. And my YouTube family as well. Sharon, who is actually my LinkedIn, but Gregory, the ladies of iTalk, who are wonderful, Angie, G-Man, I truly, truly appreciate all of you for being here. My Queen Kaylin is amazing. I'm so grateful for you guys and all of your support. Thank you so much for being here and supporting all of us. So now back to the round robin of why. What inspired me to start this? Well, when it came to becoming Crystal Phoenix, what inspired me was in a support group for domestic abuse, and very dear friend of mine, Anastasia, was talking about a documentary that she was making called 𝐔𝐘𝐒, where survivors got to share their stories, and it piqued my interest. So I volunteered with her to do so, and then that kind of led me towards coaching and everything, because it felt very healing knowing that my story could possibly give hope to someone else. And then fast forward to a year and a half later, Anastasia brought me over to LinkedIn. She was doing an audio room, sharing her story, reading her book. And that spiraled into me meeting Erin Gibson and Nick. And from there, I got to meet Cassandra and you, Paulette, and Dr. CJ and Dr. New, and so many other wonderful, supportive people. Susanna Dawn, who her book series, both the fiction and nonfiction books are just absolutely amazing. And I'm so thrilled to be in Beyond Boxes with her. I've started working on anthologies as going on a trip to Wonderland, because you make so many amazing connections while writing with them that it's just, and not the creepy Alice in Wonderland, but just an amazing journey to me. So that's what led me to becoming Crystal Phoenix and speaking out and being that voice, because every time I share, I give hope to someone else. By sharing is caring. It helps me heal, and I'm also helping others to heal and share their stories, whether it's for helping their community or helping themselves by being able to speak their truth to the world. So, next question. So, Martha, what inspired you to start giving back to the community? I mean, I know the situation down in Houston and the fact that half of them still don't have power because of the tornadoes and everything. My aunt is actually flying back there as we speak. Her plane took off an hour ago to return to Houston, Galveston via Houston. So,
Yeah, I am seeing our communities come together. I'm very active through an app called Nextdoor app. And what I've seen in these last couple of days since the tornado, hurricane, whatever you want to call it, it happened here on Thursday, we weren't prepared. So there was definitely a reality check that occurred at that moment when we were going through that, which was what was important at that very moment was life, safety, and really, I believe in God. So really that was what was going through my mind, and the people that were around us. We were all scared because we didn't know what was going to happen. So, but what I'm seeing right now, since the power has been out for several days, we're dealing with heat. We're dealing with community members who are struggling with their refrigerated medication. We're also dealing with, children that are in homes with no AC. So as you can imagine, hotels have been booked. People have been staying at them to keep cool. It's been very stressful, but for the folks that are able to assist, I've seen a lot of us coming together and assisting our neighbors. And that's the beauty of community. And so that's where Connect Impact Hub comes, where when I was growing up, we grew up in the system and having to ask for help. Salvation Army was our best friend growing up. And so you do depend, when you're in urgent situations, you do depend on these organizations to help you. And so I'm very thankful that we were able to get that assistance growing up. But then we have cases where you do ask for help and there's no resources to assist. And so that's where Connect Impact Hub comes, where we're calling around, we're making those extra calls. Instead of having the client make those calls, we're actually providing that service for them to prevent that circle of just going in circles and just being told no when your life is already really low and you're going through whatever difficulties you're going. But can you imagine having to make these calls and just being told no each time? That's when you give up, because you're like, I can't do this no more. So that's where we're coming in. We're uplifting and providing our services through locating resources and calling out to our communities for help. And you can see that right now on our LinkedIn profiles. I have 2 cases that I'm working on. One of them is already live. The second one will be coming live soon here on social media.
I love that. Growing up in South Florida, I've dealt with hurricanes. I was there through Andrew and also Wilma, even though Wilma destroyed more of Louisiana and Texas, but it did some pretty good damage to my home and my neighborhood and everything. We were without power for 2.5 weeks in my apartment. Thankfully, my mom had a generator and we grabbed everything from our house and brought it over there. But not a lot of people are that lucky, you know. So I love what you are doing. It is very much needed, especially in areas like that have the natural disasters more likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, that's the entire world. But I mean, because in the Midwest we have constant tornadoes. Down in Texas, you have the threat of tornado and hurricane. Woohoo! And Paulette. So, I mean, it is very much needed, and I applaud you for starting that. So, Paulette, my dear, so your turn to share what made you decide to give back to the community.
I think it was always mine and Charlotte's intention that we were going to do it as a non-profit, because we both felt very much that the children needed the product that we had, and that money shouldn't be the reason they don't get to have access. So people have often said to me, why have you not made a water? And you could sell a water for like $50 or whatever and give some money to the community. And it's like, yes, but then the haves that can have water, and those that cannot have won't get water, and that's not fair. So if we have a water card, it's a great equalizer. Everybody gets water, and there are no waters to hand out to the rich kids, and the poor kids don't get water. So it's like the card they can make themselves makes it very personal. And I think when we were talking, Charlotte and I, at the very beginning, it was very much, I don't know who we're going to give the money to when we make some money. I mean, Charles says at the moment we're not a non-profit, we're all for cost, which I don't think is very fair, because one day we'll be a non-profit. But at the moment, obviously, we are spending more than we're getting in. But that's just the early days of any charity. That's how it works. You have to have a product in order to sell it, to make money. So you have to invest to start with. But once we'd made that decision, it was quite clear that's what we were going to do. Then coming onto LinkedIn and meeting the most amazing people around the world, I was like, what is going on? I was thinking that I was going to be, dealing with the UK, as I said, Aberdeen down to Cardiff or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm in Houston, and then I'm over in Florida, and then I'm over here, and I'm like, and then when I'm talking
in
about
Missouri,
Alabama, Missouri, I'm like, I have no clue. I have to keep looking at that. Because in my book, I swear to you, this is the absolute truth, I've got written down in my book, it says the very first page, ET 5 hours, PST 8 hours, Central 6 hours, because I honestly never know what time it is or what we're doing.
Can you take a picture of that and send it to me?
Honestly, it's the funniest thing. Someone says to me, I'm here, and I'm like, I need to know where that is. I'm going to get a print out of the States, and then I'm going to put what time zone they're in. And when I've done that, I'll send it to you. But it is really interesting, and what I have absolutely loved, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, I've been taken into people's hearts too, and they've just got me. They've just said, we get what you're doing. We like what you're doing with the Mental Wellness Cafe. we can see you're bringing, benefits to our country and to other countries, and we want to sort of support you. And then when we had the launch, I was in tears pretty much the whole time from the minute it started to the finish, because really it was people pouring into me, and that's not what I do. I do the pouring. I'm really good at standing with the jug doing the pouring. I'm not very good at being the receiver. So I found that really difficult, and it was wonderful and difficult in the same breath.
And humbling. I do
yes. Humbling, absolutely. And
to feel all that love.
Yeah, it really was, Crystal. And then when they said 11 bestsellers, you just think 11 number one bestsellers in 9 in the UK, and then Australia and America. You just think that is ridiculous. The size of Australia and America is ridiculous. But the thing about it is, it's the colloquialisms, the funny little English quirky sayings. I had the funniest one. I have to tell you very quickly. There's a word in the book, and it says at the back, it asks you what we think GPisms are. And one of the questions is, what do you think gassing means? Well, gassing in the UK means to chat. To gas is to chat. And apparently one of Alana, now his little children, said it means they've got wind.
Here in the US, yes, that it very much so does.
And I love that.
Really quick, why don't you, I know you've got the book next to you. Why don't you flash this for a second? I would, but I actually sent my copy down to Houston to be donated to a school in Galveston to support it and see if we can't get it in the school system down there.
Thank you. Well, we could always get another one out to you. I mean, the thing is, we really are being told that schools, that social workers apparently don't need to go through the school system of being approved. So Alana has a few of her friends who are social workers, and they are taking the books off, and that's how come that story come about. So it's already started to, find its way around Florida. So it's very strange that this little book and little idea in my kitchen is turning into something so wonderful. And then when we decided that we were going to launch it on LinkedIn, I said, well, in that case, I love Connect Impact Hub. Well, I especially love the person who set it up and what she's doing, that it would make absolute sense to give a large proportion of the proceeds to Connect Impact Hub to help the communities in America. And it starts with Houston and then goes on from there, right? And we're helping the comfort cases, which I think I've told you, because I was in care. I've got a real place in my heart for children who are in that system. So the book goes in the back of the rucksack, and they've got a book to read all about their new house nerves, and that's exactly what they'll have when they're going into foster care or into a care home or wherever. So it's really going to be sort of important, empowering for them just to have the book. So that will be an actual donation of books. And then Great Ormond Street Hospital is a very well-known hospital. It's called GOSH in the UK, and it's the biggest children's hospital in the UK. And they have always had the books. The first book, they had it for their Christmas stockings for every one of their children.
So did my girls.
So did your girls. Signed copies.
Yes, which I truly appreciated, and that was part of why I decided to jump on this as soon as I found out that the proceeds for the American sales go to Connect Impact Hub. And by the way, guys, for any of you that are interested in buying the book, please, all you have to do is scan the QR code that's on the screen, and it will take you right to the Amazon page where you can pick up this wonderful, wonderful book. I did read it before I sent it on, and it is adorable. Paulette is a wonderful storyteller. So thank you so much.
It's gone.
Mhm. Don't worry, we'll send that to you, Paulette.
Okay.
But I'm just so proud of everything that both of you have accomplished. I mean, Martha, you and I have been talking for months. You know, because I have family down there, I've been trying to see how I could, help in any way, whether it be my family down there, if I could get any of them involved, any of it for months, and to see that all of this is coming to fruition. And for Paulette, what you're doing to help with Connect Hub and the hospitals there in the UK, I mean, this is amazing. And I'm just so humbled and awed to be considered friend to both of you. You're both have such amazing, beautiful souls. To finish the round robin once again, my motivation to give back to my community is because my community pours into me, and I see people hurting, and I want to help them rise from the ashes as well. We all support each other. Dr. CJ, Paulette, Martha, Keith, Chris. I mean, so many. The list goes on and on with my LinkedIn family and my family that I am developing through YouTube, who is all amazing as well. The ladies of iTalk and Angie, and just so many that I'm meeting and making this just wonderful community, like Paulette said, all over the world. I just want to pour back into it, and I may not be financially stable, but by giving a voice to the others, helping spread the word, through written word and through doing these lives and things like that. That's how I'm able to give back. By helping promote such wonderful causes like yours and your books. And yes, a little self-serving, I do promote myself as well, Rise of Crystal Phoenix, right? I have little pieces of merch. Yes, I'll own it. But I have to make a little bit of money, but I do give back to the community as well. And that's what it's all about, making the world a better place. That's what drives all of us, into one banner. That's what I love about Paulette. When I first met Paulette, she was talking in a room with Ennie, who has such an amazing heart. And I love Ennie. He was in my very first audio room that only had 4 people total, and was just so supportive and just helped guide me and talking to me and everything. So, and I know how much Ennie loves and supports Paulette, but it's just so funny how we meet these people all over the world, may never meet you like face to face to give you a hug, but yet that I'm sending you big hugs and support all the time and positive energy, just like I feel it from you. There's been times where Paulette's messaged me, "Are you okay?" Just because she could tell that something was off. And that's just how the community that we've built around us has become. So yeah, I want to pour back into that. I want to put that positive energy that has been poured into me back out into the world, and hopefully it will blossom and spread instead of all the darkness that tries to seep in. And what you're trying to do with helping the homeless, that's amazing. I remember like reaching out for help when I was homeless and feeling so beat down when I would get all the no's. And the fact that you're helping with that, big hearts, and support in any way that I can. So that's honestly why I want to give back to my community, because they've given so much to me.
That's lovely.
Thank you, Crystal.
So, and trying to remember what our third and final question was. How do you envision the future of community involvement and giving back? I'm going to start with Paulette this time.
I think that the world is becoming, because of social media, because of things like LinkedIn and YouTube, we are all connected. And because we're all connected, we're all that much wiser. So we don't have to just rely on the news. We don't just have to rely on a piece of information that comes from somebody who lives in that particular area. We've got friends in that area. We know what's going on in Houston because Martha's telling us, and we trust Martha. So therefore, Martha is our news. We don't need to watch the news. We've got Martha who's got her feet on the ground. So I actually think community is going to become even more important than ever, and that communities are going to have each other's backs, because as economies are going to be going through a pretty rough state at the moment, and will continue to, because of all of the goings on in the world at the moment. There's so much money being poured into wars and all the rest of it that there isn't the money for other things. And so it becomes really, really difficult to not think about the neighbour that might be struggling, the old person across the road who might have nothing to eat, or the walking or driving past people who are literally living in tents or out the backs of cars. You may well have been able to turn away before, but not anymore. And I think that COVID was bad enough. But COVID started the community. COVID started people looking out for each other. Thank goodness, in a way, that was the start. COVID was an awful thing to happen. But if there's one good thing that came out of it, was community. And the things like the LinkedIn and all of the YouTube and everything that is social media. And so now for me, I can only see community getting bigger and more involved in everything in every country, up and down the streets, every street, because without it, we're going to fall apart. Because what we don't realize is that the people that have to ask need to get help now, not when you've been through 47 sheets of paper and 15 phone calls and whatever else. They want help now. I've got a baby who needs milk. I don't have any money for milk. Please, how do I get money for milk? And now we've got things like the neighbour. I'll get Martha to talk about it, but this wonderful system where people say, okay, I'll help. I'll buy the milk. I'll go and get groceries, and while I'm getting the groceries, I'll do that. So that to me is true community, and that is going to make the difference in this world as to whether we come out of this with a humanitarian angle, whether we all find that piece of us inside, we dig deep and we find that peace, because I think that's what's got to happen. Every single person in the world has got to do their bit, and when they do, that's when community makes a difference. What do you think, Martha?
I completely agree with everything you say, Paulette, because we have so much in common when it comes to humanity. You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking about the systems that we have in place and how outdated they are.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the problem that we're having anywhere in the world.
100%.
Systems that we have in place that require updating.
Yeah.
Now, while the government knows that we are facing these difficulties on any streets, no matter where you step out. Yet we're focusing on our roads, for example. I'm going to use that as a scenario because it's very recent. We're focusing on our roads, but yet we have this crisis of our homeless community members that we're not addressing. And that's where the questions come in. Why aren't we addressing this issue that's in front of our face? When we wake up in the morning, we get in our cars, we're driving to work, we're seeing our community members. I mean, it's right there. Why are we not addressing this crisis that's right in front of our face? So this is where Connect Impact Hub is stepping in, because what's happening, and you guys are seeing this here on LinkedIn, is our communities, no matter where you are at, what we're saying, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. We're making it okay. And so what's happening is the shame is going to go away, and it's okay. All of us have struggled in some type of way, in something. And maybe some of us haven't struggled, right? But if you haven't struggled, what can you do to help? Right? Because when you serve, there's a feeling that comes with that. And it's more than money. It's really that warm feeling of humanity. I did something good in the world today. So I love what you shared, Paulette, as always. How do I envision the future of community involvement? It's certainly, as I'm sharing, is getting our community involved. I'm in Houston. I'm assisting a mom in New Jersey. Okay. I was doing advocacy work in New York, in the Bronx, in Manhattan. I'm in Houston. I was doing that virtually. So if I could do that virtually, imagine what you can do as well. We can all help each other. I do apologize.
That's all right. We have pets. We get it. It's okay. That just proves that you're real and human.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's another area too, as my little guy is barking in the background, is there's not a lot of resources that are pet friendly. Yeah. There's not a lot of support for our community members who have pets. And so this is such a, you know how I don't want to get too deep, but really we have the answers to fix this problem, and we can definitely end homelessness together. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Really quick, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, myself and my moderators have posted different channels for the viewers that are here, as well as a special song for Paulette. I did post the short on that in the comments. I will also post them onto the LinkedIn chat as well when we are done. It's a beautiful little theme song for the book, and it's just amazing, you know, when it comes to community and where I see it going. You both hit it right on the head for me. It's funny because with COVID, they tried to isolate us. You know, you had to stay in your home and everything. And that's why social media became as big as it was, because we had to have some form of interaction with others. And so we started building these communities through social media. And what was great was we were able to branch out from just our small little towns. And I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, that's a big city, but it's still, it feels small, your neighborhood, you know. But through social media, we've been able to branch out throughout the world. I mean, all three of us have connections all the way to Australia, you know, Asia, every continent except for maybe Antarctica. But I mean, for the most part, every corner of the world is covered through social media in one way or another. We have those connections. So community is no longer, you know, just your cul-de-sac anymore. if you think about it, our community has stretched worldwide. And if we can keep putting out the kindness and stamping out the cruelty and the negativity, then maybe, just maybe, that sense of community will, stop the stupidity and hatred and overpower it. And I won't need to, be a domestic violence advocate anymore. I can just, be me and help others to rise up from other things, when people stop abusing each other. And I really do feel that if we keep putting that good out there, that maybe not our generation, but one day somebody like me won't be needed. And that fills me with joy and hope. So that's where I hope for the terms of community and growth will eventually go. That's my dream. It might sound like a pipe dream, but it's my hope anyway.
I think if you actually look at what has happened with COVID and then what happened thereafter, people haven't gone back to the offices. They haven't gone back to work. I mean, in our office, they only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Mondays and Fridays. They work from home. So that's put a lot more people at home. And when they're at home, they're in communities. And suddenly, if somebody breaks down, they need a push, there's more people to run on the street to give that car a push, and that's what I kind of think that I see community as. It isn't, I know we're hitting the hard end, which is that my baby hasn't got any milk, we don't have any food, haven't got any money, or I can't put petrol in my car. All these major issues that have to be dealt with. But what we're really talking about as well is the bigger issues, i.e., unemployment. Every time I hear about these layoffs, it's not really all over the news. We're not really hearing it in the numbers that we're seeing it on LinkedIn. So therefore, you start to think, well, are we telling the truth or are they telling the truth? Because there's a disconnect between what we're hearing and what we're hearing on the television. And when we had the lovely Felipe was in a room, and I asked him outright, I said, do you think we are being undersold this layoffs? He said, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
The layoffs are horrendous at the moment. And, we just have to understand that we've got to get people, back into work, to earn an income, to live, just to not to have more, but just to live.
I agree.
And I think the day of the savings seems to have been a day of the past. Do you remember when we used to have a little nest egg? Only little, but it was to keep us out of trouble for a month or so. That's depleted, it's gone. It's very, very difficult to imagine how people must be feeling when they suddenly get told you don't have work on Monday. Just like that. And sometimes by text message, I've heard. I mean, that's brutal, brutal. So yeah, really hard time at the moment. But let's hope your pipe dream and our pipe dream and all the pipe dreams of those that believe come together, because I think we can change it.
It's funny when you were talking about, like, in community, how with more people working remote, that if you need a push or something, there's more people to lend a hand. It brought back a memory of when I was visiting my girls about 2 years ago. It was just me, and I would travel an hour and a half to see my kids. And I was driving home on a rural road, not dirt road, thankfully, but rural, and I blew out a tire. And I know how to change a tire, but unfortunately the lug nuts were just too tight. And about 3 cars passed, and then this trucker stopped. He pulled over, and I had already called the tow guys and everything. But of course, you know how they can be. They take like 30 hours. And he was just so kind and helped me change my tire. And I limped my donut over to Walmart and, you know, got a new tire and everything, but didn't know me from hole in the wall. But just he saw somebody who was struggling and helped. And that right there gives me hope. And you just brought that story back to mind when you had made that comment. So it may not be a pipe dream, but it is hard to see with, like you said, all the layoffs and everything. I mean, Matt, a very talented programmer, had been out of work for a long time. Thankfully, he has a really good job now. He busts his butt so that I can follow my dreams, which I truly appreciate. He is the most amazing support system in my life, and I can't say I would be lost without him, but I think I would. If I joke that he's way too good for me, but I'll never give him up. He has been my rock through some of the worst days of my life and stood by me no matter what. And I truly appreciate him. And without him,
do too, and I don't even know him. So I'm sure Martha feels the same way. We all do.
And it's just, without him, I wouldn't be here, because he was what enabled me to move forward from what I went through. He gave me a home. He gave me support. And eventually him fell in love with me. I really think I fell first, but it doesn't matter. I got him, and that's it. I'm not letting go.
But you shared something really important, Crystal, about connections, especially when we're really down in our lives, and the importance of getting that community or partner that can lift you up. Because look at you, Crystal. And those, like, when I get those cases, those are the wins. Those are the real wins.
Mm-hmm.
When you see our community members doing amazing work in their lives, and my hope is that they'll do the same thing for someone else.
And that's the whole thing. I had said something to Annie once. Annie had said something to me in a chat. He was like, "Thank you so much for always supporting, whether I could go to the rooms or not. I would always repost and support." And he was like, "Thank you for being such a supportive, wonderful person." And I was like, "Well, Annie, of course I support you. You support me. Together, when one of us rises, we all rise together, because that's how tight-knit of a community we've become. So helping one of us rise, we all rise. And we all support each other, and that's the message and reality that we're trying to build, globally. And it's starting here on LinkedIn and YouTube, but it is growing, and that's all we can hope for. So
I would say as well, Crystal, if it wasn't for LinkedIn and YouTube and the way that people have communicated, what state would the world be in? All the people that Martha's helped, all the people that you've helped, all the people that I've helped.
I was going to say, don't leave yourself out of there.
Yeah. No, but I mean, probably more with me, it's been phone calls or the mental wellness cafe. I mean, goodness, sometimes we can have 50 to 60 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm zooming between them all with all their different smaller issues, but all things that need to be resolved or suggested. And it's been something that I thought that would we stop doing it? And Annie was like, no, it's needed. So, I think that we've worked that one out ourselves, that that's giving back to the community.
Mhm.
There's not instant therapy anywhere unless you've got a lot of money, or you've got good insurance. So if you
It's
need
still
to
not
just
instant
ask a
therapy.
question, it's not instant. So
Mm-mm.
that means that what we're doing is, just suggesting that here we are, what can we offer? How can we help? And it doesn't always mean that we know the answers, but we can direct people to where they should go. And that's what we've always said, isn't it, Martha? That even if we don't know, we'll find out.
Right.
Mhm.
And we
Yep.
do. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Even though Paulette is another country away from us, Paulette is helping here in the US.
Mhm.
And so this is collaboration. This is Connect Impact Hub. So it's not just a Houston Connect Impact Hub. This is literally global, because what we're doing here we'll be able to do anywhere. But it involves all of us. This is a community connection hub. It's a community movement. So we all have I know we're running low on time, but I wanted to ask really quickly a question to Crystal.
Absolutely.
Crystal, what inspires you?
Oh, wow. It's an easy but difficult question, to be honest. Different things inspire different things. Like, it depends. I mean, different things inspire me in different ways. When it comes to my writing, a conversation can inspire a chapter or something. A conversation with my sister inspired me to write a few more letters that I didn't realize I needed to write the write and purge and burn that I didn't realize I needed to write. A beautiful morning. I think Paulette will remember this. I had an audio room set. This is when I first started out. And I decided it was going to be a really heavy topic. And I decided that morning, like an hour before the audio room, that I was going to pull a bipolar move and change the topic to gratefulness, because I was just so awed and grateful for the beautiful morning that I'd had. Matt had made me breakfast in bed. We'd had a beautiful morning. It was beautiful outside. We were up early enough to see a sunrise, and I was just so grateful for everything around me. And a sunrise, walking outside and seeing the aurora borealis. There's so many different things that inspire me, whether they're good or bad. There are times where I'm inspired to write because I see the ugly in the world and I want to change it. It's like I said, it's a very hard question because there's so many different things that inspire me. It's always inspired to try and turn something good. What if it's a negative that I'm seeing, I'm trying to turn it into something positive. Even if it's just turning negative feelings within myself into something positive, because that negative weighs on you. So, like I said, really tough question. I hope that answered it, because, well, my ADHD shows, and well, I can find inspiration in just about anything at times. And then there's other times where I'll sit at my computer going, oh, I have a deadline. Ah. So
I love what you just shared. And as you were sharing, I was thinking what you just said, it doesn't even involve money, being present. And we can all do that together. So thank you so much for sharing, Crystal. I love that.
Crystal, what are these products that you've got that are on your site that people can buy? Because I had no idea about these. Could you just tell me? Because obviously that would be very interesting.
Absolutely. Well, I can kind of stand up a little bit here. I have designed some shirts. I also Of course, I don't have my baseball cap any around, but I have a baseball cap. This is coffee mug. Well, I have juice in it right now, but that is my actual business brand, Crystal Phoenix Coaching. And I have a scented candle as well, a notebook, and I think that's all I've just in a men's t-shirt for now. And
excellent.
you can get to all of that from at riseofcrystalphoenix.com.
Would you put that at the bottom so we know where to look? Save me writing it down.
I will send you the link.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And anybody else would like the link as well.
Actually, I do want to say a very special thank you to Dr. Constance Leland, who has been our support team in the background. Without her, this would not have ran so smoothly. She does have a live tonight with the beautiful Susanna Dawn on YouTube. I did post the channel for that as well in the YouTube chat. So I have, like I said, I have such an amazing support system with all of you, and this is the way that I give back, and I appreciate it. So if we could show both of those graphics one more time, sis, I would appreciate it, both for Paulette's book and then for mine. And then we are actually out of time, my loves. This was amazing. Thank you so much for, and I'm going to be a little silly and gross, but thank you for popping my cherry so gracefully. I had to make one cross comment or it wouldn't be me. And we all know this. So this is the QR code to be able to get Jack and Walter. And remember that part of the proceeds do go to Connect Impact Hub if you're buying here in the US. If you are in the UK, it supports the different hospitals, if I remember correctly. Paulette, that's what you were saying, right?
Well, it's in the UK, it's helping Great Ormond Street and also children going into care.
So, please grab the book. It's a great book as it is for any of you that have children. It is amazing. Even if they're just changing bedrooms, not even houses, And then here is the QR code for Crystal Phoenix Coaching, where you can find my merchandise, ways to contact me via LinkedIn if you want to set up a appointment to learn more about me, things like that. Please feel free to reach out. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much for all of the love and support. Please like and subscribe the channels that have been posted in the YouTube and connect with each other on LinkedIn as well. You have all been so amazing. Thank you so much. And Dr. CJ, please at least unmute and say hello to your adoring fans, because we do love you and appreciate you. I know normally it doesn't happen like that, but at least grace us with your beautiful voice and say hi, because we all love you so much. And thank you.
Sorry guys, I'm at the birthday, so it's at 7 p.m. PST tonight.
So thank you guys so much. And I truly do appreciate all of your work. You guys are amazing. I did share the YouTube channel for you. And Paulette, I did share that link that you had sent me, and I'm going to post it on LinkedIn as well. So please, everybody, reach out, like and subscribe to the channels, and support each other on LinkedIn. You guys are all amazing. I love you. Thank you. So have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll also put the link, I should have mentioned this, I did not, for Connect Impact Hub fundraiser as well. We have our campaign. So I'll put that in the comments as well. Thank you so much, Crystal, for having us. It has been such a joy. Thank you,
Ladies,
Paulette.
don't
Love you both. Love
don't
you,
run
CJ.
away yet. Love you guys. Don't run away yet.
Okay, thank you.